Time now for the 5,000 meters. There are the championship and collegiate records. The collegiate record going back all the way to 1978. That is 43 years ago. 24 gentlemen have qualified to get here, 12 from the West Regional in College Station and 12 from Jacksonville, the East. And there is Cooper Teare, the Oregon phenom, and Luis Grijalva of Northern Arizona, who trains and competes and lives at altitude. An amazing cross-country team do they have.
Well, they won the cross-country national title this year, just 2 days after the NCAA indoor championship. So we saw Cooper Teare win the mile, the NCAA indoor mile, but he really came onto our radar when he broke the collegiate indoor mile record at the Razorback Invitational, and he, along with Cole Hawker, who's coming off that win in the 1,500 meters, are the Ducks in this heat. And we see Wesley Kiptoo of Iowa State, you know, he's going to go right to the front. You can really expect that from him, Dwight. But what was interesting in the 10,000 meters, he didn't win that 10,000 meters because everybody went with him. And a lot of people were talking about, you know, Wesley Kiptoo going to the front. And just that night, 14 personal bests that night, top 12 times in the country, everybody decided to go with him. Half the distance here today. We'll see what the strategy is going to be.
And the top 10 finishers in that 10,000 meters all broke the previous championship record, which had been around a long time. So great conditions existed on that Wednesday evening after the rain. And Wilson Kiptoo set a blistering pace early on. And as you said, Dan, just a whole lot of guys managed to and decided to stick around and follow it. Vincent Kiprop of Alabama also in this race. He had a disappointing performance in the 10,000 meters. We see Robert Brandt there of Georgetown in second. He was very much in the middle of that 10,000 meter race on Wednesday. And you know it's honest when you see the pack stretch out this quickly. So Kiptoo, Brandt, Teare. Hawker is back there around 7th place currently, coming back from that great 1,500 meter performance. Just going to see Vincent Kiprop there with the yellow compression socks and the crimson singlet and shorts.
Cole Hawker back there in the middle of the field. See him back in about 9th or 10th position. He was the Pac-12 champion in 5,000 meters, but this is the race, Dwight, where he has almost become legendary in his kicks. Just outstanding final laps for him. And in that race down at USC, he closed in 54 seconds.
We saw him close in 52.2 in the 1,500 meters to beat the collegiate record holder. And the reason why you want to try and stretch this pack out, earlier in the proceedings, you can see some people fall. You get your legs tangled up. You don't see the guy there. You fall over him. Very dangerous. They're all wearing spikes. And believe me, television takes the speed out of everything. Those guys are going at a pretty good clip. So to be run into someone, or being run into by someone, I should say, doesn't feel so good. And then you'd still have to get up, and you've got 9 laps of the race remaining.
Well, and Dwight, I see Luis Grijalva there at about 8th position, 9th position, and I can't help but think back on the NCAA Indoor Championships in Albuquerque, New Mexico that were canceled, and we were going to get a chance to see one of the strongest distance teams ever assembled compete against all those teams, and NAU, maybe their only chance to win an NCAA indoor title, and it gets canceled. But that team, Luis Grijalva was on that team, Tyler Day, number of other great distance runners, and now they've all graduated out. And NAU still an extremely strong cross-country school, but just has not had a big track presence this season.
So Wilson Kiptoo looks over at Robert Brandt and said, would you like to take the lead for a while? And Brandt said, no, you're doing a great job. And by the way, nice gloves. Let's take a look at the standings after 18 events on the men's side. We know that LSU has this thing clinched, and they just scored a boatload of points. Anytime you score 80 anything at the NCAA championships, you have put a lot of people in this meet. And Oregon, 46 points back in second place. Florida at 32.5 in third. And then Texas, USC, Georgia, North Carolina, A&T. I remember in 1972, I was a freshman at UCLA. We had lost the conference meet to the Trojans at Stanford. And we came back and won the NCAAs right here at Hayward Field by 25 points. That's how many. We just qualified tons of people into the meet. Yet at the conference level, the SEC, the most competitive conference in the country, Arkansas once again winning both the men's and women's team titles rather handily and with not a lot of stress. So he just allowed a lot more bodies into the conference meet, and boy, do they have them.
Well, they win those championships with depth. You know, so many. There's not a single event that they don't score points in, and whether it's the distance running, and we know how prophetic they are in the distance races, but they also are, they got guys in the sprints and the hurdles, and they handle the multi-events and the jumps just as well.
Yeah, it's a very balanced program, and that's due in large part to the late coach John McDonnell, who passed away earlier this week at 82 years of age. The man who first won the Triple Crown, winning cross-country, indoor track, and outdoor track in the same year, did it before anybody else, and then did it 5 times. And he realized you can't just win it with a ton of good distance runners. You've got to have a more balanced attack. And of course, the coaches in that great program now have followed in that tradition. Chris Bucknam and Lance Harder, they just throw so many bodies at you at the conference level that it's impossible to compete with them. So things bunching up a little bit. Wilson Kiptoo stepping off the gas just ever so slightly and letting a lot more runners back into this race, bunching things up, which you always have to worry about. That's why you see them starting to squirt out into lane 2 so that everybody has plenty of room to run. Robert Brandt finally taking over the leading duties. So it's Robert Brandt's turn now to push the pace or decide not to. And he knows how many good kickers there are in this final. So time to take the sting out of some of them. There's Cooper Teare of Oregon in 4th. Cole Hawker still in touch, but still back about 10th or 11th in this 24-man field.
These guys have been just clipping off 65-second, 66-second laps.
It's on that 6th and final throw, so not an improvement, but far enough to have won the competition with that throw, as second place was 2:03.2. All right, back to the 5,000 meters. When they come around to the start-finish line, they will have a mile remaining. Kiptoo now has fallen well back about 8th place. Kyoko now into the lead. Athanas Kyoko of Campbell University from Kenya. He won the Big South outdoor title in the 1,500, 5,000, and 10,000. And indoors, the mile, the 3,000, the 5,000, and anchored their DMR. Wilson Kiptoo really paying a price for that early pace that he forged. So it's Kyoko followed by Brandt of Georgetown, Cooper Teare in 3rd. Now Grijalva of Northern Arizona up into 5th place, or 4th place, I should say. And Patrick Deaver, the 10,000 meter champion, is also in the mix here in this 5,000.
Well, since Kyoko has come up front, he's dropped a 63-second lap, and the last lap was 62. He's starting to create a little bit of distance there between him and Robert Brandt. But look at Cooper Teare, and it's always interesting, Dwight, how Oregon sets up their distance runners at the different championships. Cooper Teare ran the 1,500 at the Pac-12 meet. So did Cole Hawker. Cole Hawker then doubled back for the 5K, but Hawker didn't run the 15 at the Pac-12 meet. They just have so much range, and they can do so many things just with the different combinations between these two and Charlie Hunter.
Cole Hawker now going into 11th place. He's just starting to move up. Now he's going to have a gap that he's got to try and close, equal with Wilson Kiptoo now, but then he's got a gap of about 8 meters that he has to connect to sort of that front group that's now being led again by Robert Brandt. Cooper Teare now in second. Kyoko drops back to third. And now Hawker's in that no man's land trying to get connected to that group of about 9. And they're coming up with just 800 meters remaining.
And I was going to say, if Cole Hawker can connect to that back group, he has that outstanding kick. It would absolutely give him a shot. But they're 30 meters ahead. That's a long ways to go.
Now, it's a lot to ask, especially since he's by himself right there in that space between. A group of 4 now with Brandt, Teare, Kyoko, and Grijalva have sort of broken off. Wind is starting to pick up.
Grijalva there for NAU in 4th position. He was the Big Sky 1,500 meter champion, so you know he has speed. Cooper Teare, certainly the NCAA indoor record holder in the mile. Good speed up front for all of these guys.
So Cooper Teare in front now, followed by Brandt. Grijalva now making a move into 3rd. Kyoko dropping back to 4th. The crowd now comes alive. Grijalva trying to tuck in behind him. Cooper Teare's got an awful lot of work to do if he even wants to score points for the Ducks. Bell lap, and now it's Teare and Grijalva. Kyoko trying to connect.
Grijalva looks very, very calm. He looks like he's still got a lot of run left in him, but so does Cooper Teare. As Kyoko, oh, he's showing us something with 300 meters to go.
Kyoko with a head full of steam now. He better start to make that move before he gets to the curve, or he's going to run extra distance. Great turnover for Kyoko. Grijalva sees him now. Kyoko going to go wide. Teare now is in the good spot. He gets to see what's happening now. There he makes the move. He shifts gears, goes wide. And he has a head of steam that I don't think anybody has an answer for. The Ducks win the 1,500 and the 5,000. Teare wins the 5, Grijalva 2nd, Kyoko 3rd. And now Cole Hawker trying to get 4th, and he does it. So a 1-4 finish for the Ducks. With no mile relay or no 4x4, that's the end of the scoring for Oregon. But they finish on a high note. They started with a 1,500 meter victory, and they end with a 5,000 meter win. And the number 3 time amongst the collegians for Cooper Teare. Grijalva also now occupies number 4 position.
But you look at all the guys under 13-20. It goes clear into 7-8 deep. Outstanding. We saw fantastic running in the 10,000 meters in the steeplechase, and everybody saved their best running for late in the season.
First win at 5,000 meters since King Ches 5 years ago right here in 2016. He won that 5,000 meters. Edward Cheserek. Oregon just keeps getting great distance runners and making them even better.
But as a distance runner, you know, where else would you rather go? You know, they wooed Jordan Hasse back in the day when she competed at the Olympic trials as a high schooler. But here you see Cooper Teare, which just makes him so good. Devastating kick. He made the move. It was a decisive move. Grijalva hung in there as long as he absolutely could. His best run of the season. But, you know, when you got this crowd behind you and you wear that uniform, this place can pick you up.
A 5-second almost personal best for Cooper Teare in the 5,000. That race set up early by Kiptoo. He has him to thank for forging that really hard early pace. A great competitive race, and the freshman comes back off his 1,500 meter victory to score points for Oregon by finishing 4th. There are the official results. And when we come back to Eugene, Oregon, it's the concluding event of these men's championships. The 4x400 relay is next. Back in Eugene for that man, Cooper Teare. He gets an Olympic qualifying time and wins the Ducks' 11th 5K title at the championship level. No one's even close to that many, and no school. And he's downstairs with John Anderson.
Thank you, Dwight. Yeah, 5,000-meter champ Cooper Teare. You got to sit around and wait on Wednesday, and you got to wait on Thursday, and you're the last guy pretty much to go on Friday, and then you left it for the last 120, man. Take us through the last lap when you decided that we've got to decide this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was fast from the start. Like I said earlier, we've kind of been doing Wesley Kip 2 simulation workouts where we do long reps, go out in like 2:02 for the first 800, then settle in. And so, you know, I figured coming in it'd be a fast race, and you know, it was about making sure nobody got away. And there was a couple points where, you know, I thought the race could have been decided. Kyoko went with about 2K to go, and I wanted to be close, but not too close, because I felt like he was going to come back. And yeah, coach going in was all about trust your last 120. We've been working on that closing speed for a while, so we just saw that opening and, you know, didn't look back, went straight through the finish.
There's all kinds of history here at Hayward Field. There's all kinds of history with the Oregon program. But the 5K, that's the 3-mile race. That's Pre's race. To win Pre's race at Nationals means what?
It means everything, really. He's been my idol since I started running. I think every kid kind of idolizes him, and it's not often you get to, you know, follow in your idol's footsteps. I feel like I'm right where he was, doing the same thing, running with heart, and, you know, going after every opportunity. I feel like all season that's kind of been my thing. Just go for it. You know, slow races are fun, but for me, I'm chasing times. I want to make that Olympic team, and tonight we got under that Olympic standard, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I knew it was in the cards. And seeing 800 to go, you know, we were within, you know, about 2 minutes of it, so it was like, it's time to go now.
An amazing run and an amazing sense of history. Cooper Teare, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, John. Meet record, by the way, and also a time very close to Pre's personal best.